On lesson 6.6, proportions and percents. Okay? So today what we're going to do is we're going to practice finding finding percents of numbers, or finding out what percent of a number is the part. And so we will be using this model, and we'll use the model to write a proportion to help us find the missing number. Okay? These are problems like this. What is 65% of 245, for example? What is 65% of 245? Okay? There's a simple way to set up a proportion for this. And it works like this. You have to figure out in the wording which is the part of the whole and what is the percent of 100. If you're given the percent, like this first one, if you're given that you're trying to find 65% of 100, or 65% of a number, that means you're trying to find 65% of the whole. And so then what we do is we put these numbers from the question into a proportion. And the proportion is always set up this way. The percent number is written over 100. So in the first one it says 65% of what number? And so that's the number that goes over 100. Andrew, pay attention to this. Then, do they give us the whole or the part? 65% of 245. Is 245 the whole or the part? Kaden? It's the whole. So we put that on the bottom line. And that means we're trying to find the part. That's the missing piece of the proportion. Okay? Now, sometimes we'll be trying to find the whole, or sometimes we'll be trying to find the percent. The questions are worded in different ways. And so in each question, you're going to have to try to figure out what is the missing part of this proportion. You'll always use 100 for 100%. But one of these three will be missing in the proportion. Okay? Now, for this first one, we have the proportion set up. How do we solve this? How do you solve a proportion? Maya?
You do 245 times 65.
Yep, do 245 times 65. Write the answer. And do 100 times the part. Or we can use P for part. 100 times P is 100P. And 65 times 245 is what, Marlena?
Oh, I just had it.
Yeah.
15925.
15925. Then divide by 100. Divide by 100. And what is 65%? What is the answer?
Oh, 159.25.
159.25. 159.25 equals the part. Okay? Questions? Jacob?
Is it okay if you just multiply 65 times 245 and then divide it by 100 without doing the 100p thing?
That's right. You have to prove your answer, so when you are doing this on a quiz, you have to solve it, meaning that you have to show what you're doing to solve it. Okay? Just like on the quiz earlier when you were showing how to solve proportions, you have to show and prove your answer. Okay? Let's go to another example. Page 320. What percent of 60 is 52? It says, what percent of 60 is 52? How would you set that up?
You'll have n over 100%.
Okay, so this is 100%, and it says what percent, that's the first words in the question on example 2, what percent, and so that is the number we're looking for. Then it says of 60 is 52. Which one goes where? For the whole and the part. Which one would go? Which one would go where? This is the part, and this is the whole. Which one goes where? Katie?
60 is the whole 52.
Right, 60 is the whole because it says of 60, and 52 is the part. So now write your proportion. This is one side of the proportion, this is the other side of the proportion. So write the proportion, everyone. Write the proportion. Write the proportion and then solve it. Then cross multiply. Then find the solution. What is it, Danny?
What?
What's the solution?
Oh, 52 times 100. Oh,
Yeah, come on. What are you doing? Just sitting there?
yeah, I'm doing it.
All right, yeah, you should probably do some math in math class.
52 and 5,200 divided by 60 is 86.6 repeating.
Okay, what is 0.6 repeating as a fraction?
86.
86.6 repeating, he said.
86
What is that as a fraction? 0.6 repeating, 6/10 repeating. It's one that you need to memorize. Okay? I'll give you a hint. Remember, 6 repeating is like 6/9, because you take away 1 from the denominator. Remember when we learned that last chapter? And then you could reduce 6/9 to 2/3. So what is this as a percent? It's already written there, you just have to use the 2/3 as the 6 repeating. Okay?
Oh,
86 and what? Wait, you just found it. 86 and 2/3. Is that the percent, the part, or the whole?
Percent.
That's the percent. So the answer is 86 2/3%. Okay. Questions on this one? No, you would have to write this as your answer. You don't round it unless it says to round. Okay? You know that point 6/10 repeating is 2/3. That's a repeating decimal that you need to memorize. So anytime you have 3/10 repeating, you should use 1/3. 6/10 repeating, you should use 2/3. Okay? Example 3, finding the whole amount, or they kind of give it away. Listen to the words in this one. 207 is 46% of what number? 207 is 46% of what number? How do you set that up? 207 is 46% of what number? So, draw your line, or draw your model, put in the 100. 207 is 46%. So can we put 46% on the model? Where would you put 46% on the model, Kaden?
Above the 100.
Above the 100. So write that down. Everyone, come on. $207 is 46% of what number? So 207 is that the part or the whole? Since this, yep, of what number, that means that we're looking for the whole, right? And so 207 is the part. So, now write your proportion. Melina, write the proportion. Maya, did you write the proportion? What is the proportion? Nope. You write it this way. 46 is over 100. And that equals 207 over W for whole. So then 46W, 46 times W, is equal to 207 hundredths. So 20,700 divided by 46. What is that, Andrew? You were punching in the numbers,
Oh, yeah, totally.
weren't you? You were putting the numbers into your calculator? What were you doing on your calculator? Andrew, get on task, okay? Do the math. Do the math. What is it? 20,700 divided by 46. $450. So W equals 450. And is that 450%? Look on the model. What are we missing?
The whole.
The whole. So is that the percent? No, it's just 450, right? Percent helps you to remember what it is that you're looking for. If you're looking for the percent, you have to write percent behind it. If you're looking for the whole, then it's just the number. Okay? Alright, your assignment is on page 322. 322. I want you to do 17, or sorry, let's do 18 to 30 even. 18 to 30 evens. Okay?